like Aspen, Colorado, their base altitude is 10,000 feet, so it really does vary. I'd say this is sort of right in the middle of things in terms of North America. These mountains, they're between 25 and 2,900 meters above sea level, so between 84 and 9,700 feet. I guess that's a fair guesstimate. There are really not many mountains that go above 10,000 feet. There are probably 6 within Glacier that are above 10,000 feet, and I don't think one mountain in water can quite get that high. But again, you wouldn't really know it unless I told you, or unless you looked at a topographical map about how tall these mountains actually are. So they were likely much taller over the last 2 million years. We've had a few ice ages, to say the least. I think there are 4 in particular. And prior to those ice ages, these mountains might have been much higher. Ice movement tends to grind away at rock, sort of an abrasive effect, and that's why we see mountains getting carved out the way they do. These particular mountains may have been rather rounded off. Actually, if you look off the stern, Mount Crandall is sort of a lighter colored rock. That's very ancient limestone. It's very hard, and the glacier doesn't have much of an effect on it, so it's sort of one of those mountains that isn't as dramatic in its makeup, content, as opposed to other mountains around the Chile. There's no doubt about it. So recently, the glacier landscape. I think people from the Glacier Park, Montana, and they get all toward the north. And that's what made this area a massive lake. Very typical of mountain lakes. The glaciers typically move from south to north. So not only Waterton Lake, but Lake Kukanuka, Kootenai Lake, the Kinbasket Lake north of BC. All of these lakes tend to have a north-south running line, and that's because of glacial distinctly. So you won't find many round lakes in the Canadian Rockies. It's sort of a rare thing to find a round lake, or even a square lake. Most of them are like very large rivers, and there is a current, in fact, a very slow current, and it goes from south to the north. We'll get into that later on. I'll be able to point out the head of this lake to you, and you'll be able to see it for yourself. There are 2 other lakes in the chain of Waterton Lakes National Park. The other lake in the chain is the Middle Lake. This is the upper lake. What do you think? The third lake. Shorter and more shallow. The Middle Lake being that lower lake 10 meters, so 90 feet and 30 feet respectively. We won't take you there today. There's not as much to see, and of course, it's the only lake that goes into Montana, just so you get your bearings. So many great see for yourself how much of an undertaking it is. They do clear those trees after all. Anyone think that trees don't grow on the border? They do. They have to be cleared. There is a 49th parallel representation there as well. You'll see those two markers to those, and for anyone, fisher people, or you can water ski from there, anything you like. There's a campsite here at Boundary Bay, and it's probably a good hour and a half walk from Waterton town site. Often a halfway point or a lunch